Caddis Maximus here, this time with a super quick review. I got too poor to even shop at Harbor Freight, so now I'm shopping at the dollar store. Found myself, I believe, to be the best tool that they have up there, which is this wire brush that I just dropped. They do have a little tool section there, and most of them are of such poor quality, I wasn't even going to buy them to torture them for my YouTube channel. But then they had this whole rack of these steel wire brushes for, imagine that, $1. They were made pretty inconsistently. There are a lot of them which had a lot of bent and looks like they had been crushed during shipping, so you had to dig through to find one that had straight wires. Some of them had just such poor quality wood that they had got like right at the edge of the tree, right where the bark was, and so the whole side of the beam was like bark, and I even saw one that appeared to have moldy wood. So they are definitely made cheaply, but for the type of thing, a carbon steel wire brush, and these are pretty rigid wires, these are what you might find at Harbor Freight for $1.50 or $2, surprisingly enough, a little bit more money at Harbor Freight. I think this is the best tool deal that they have. The little pliers and stuff, those things are just terrible. But a wire brush like this, even if it is as cheap as this, these are the type of things with many situations you know, getting rid of rust, scale, paint, using it to clean up in automotive and service kind of applications, all sorts of things. They're great for actually scraping out caulk and out of tight corners, you know, getting the last bits out. And so you tend to beat these types of brushes up. So I thought for $1, these are actually a pretty good deal as a disposable item, because you might go in there and just buy 5 of these, obviously for $5, and then they'll last, you'll easily get $1's worth out of them. So really at the dollar store, I think this is Dollar Tree or something that I went into, these are the best tool deal by far. It's a full size carbon steel wire brush, and these things are handy, and they tend to be, you know, $3 to $5 for a more expensive one, but they just tend to get so beat up, so I kind of like the idea of these. Now there is, you know, they are chintzing quite a bit. Now I have a much higher quality wire brush. This is a AnimA. This one happens to have stainless steel wires, so it's a little bit more expensive than what you might expect. And I'm even realizing I haven't done a brush review and comparison video yet. But on a nicer AnimA, we can hear that we have a much higher grade wood. Definitely a lot harder and stronger. I don't know what it is, but definitely significantly better quality wood. This is just pumped out of a machine. I don't know how they get the curve into it, but this is just, you know, cut in one super fast motion with the hole drilled into it. This is actually shaped where we can see where it dips down, makes an S, and then dips back up. That's to make it more ergonomic when you are using the brushing action. They chamfer the ends here so it's a little bit more comfortable, and then they of course bevel all the corners. None of that exists on the dollar unit. And those are some of the aspects that, you know, what you're getting. Also, if we look side by side, we can see that the AnimA has, you know, 30% more wires. You can just, not just the way the wood, this is a much heavier brush just because they're giving you many more bristles. So just to give you an idea of what a high quality brush is. But nonetheless, for $1, these things are disposable. I'm going to end up having a whole bin of these, you know, end up spending $10. You have 10 of them, and then there's just no problem. And you just absolutely don't have to worry about it. Just do your wire brushing, and if it breaks or you bend a bunch of the times or it just gets all clogged up because you're trying to get glue or something else, you know, tar, whatever you're trying to wire brush off, you don't have to worry about it. You can just, you know, recycle it and, or, you know, toss it and get another one. So anyway, that's my opinion of the best tool that you can find at the Dollar Tree. Really is right up the alley, a disposable large steel wire brush. I of course would recommend getting a couple of higher quality ones just for certain jobs, just because you do get a better brushing action when you have more bristles. But nonetheless, these aren't too bad. You know, I'll suspect that the bristles are, there's so few in there and the way they poke them in that there may be some issues with some of the bristles pulling out. But once again, it's not a big deal, but you do want to watch for that. You don't want to brush something and then leave some of the steel bristles over or left sitting on whatever you're brushing. That could definitely be an issue. So that's probably the big concern I would have, besides like moldy wood, maybe getting a couple splinters from the rough cuts. Is just making sure that you don't lose wires while you're working, or at least don't end up with the wires sitting on what you're trying to clean. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.